It's time to get buzzed. Howard Bender, aka Roto Buzz Guy, is here to help you get through Thursday on Getting Buzzed. And now, please welcome to the virtual stage, Mr. Howard Bender.
Yeah, what is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for joining me here on Getting Buzzed. I am Howard Bender. I appreciate everybody for joining us here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. If you're watching, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. I mean, we've got so much amazing content here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page that you need that reminder. You need that steady reminder from Alarm Fantasy Football to the Quick Outs podcast to Brits Blitz to Coop's Fantasy Fiasco. We've got everything that you need over here. So please hit that subscribe button because the content rolling out here is absolutely amazing. Again, super psyched to be here for another episode of Getting Buzzed. And I tell you, my guest today, I love my guest today. She's probably like my work wife. I would say that. She is my producer over at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. You guys know her. It's Shan Blunt, the Shandicapper to some. She's going to be joining us. We're going to talk about her, her career. Yeah, there she is. We're going to talk about her career through SiriusXM, how it all started for her, what it's like working with knuckleheads like me and Jim Bowden on the regular. And then, of course, anybody who's listened to us over at Fantasy Alarm's SiriusXM show, you know she is our resident Swiftie. All things Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. She knows the ins and the outs. You want to know if Travis is going to be at this game on Monday Night Football? The Shandicapper knows. So stay tuned here. She's going to join us in a little while, and I'm just super psyched about it. Super psyched about it. Hi to everybody who's sitting there in the chat. Angie Hatfield, I see you in there. Britt Flynn, the Better Boss, Coltastrophe. Yo, what is going on? Your first time ever seeing Shan? Wow, this is going to be a momentous occasion. She is an absolute gem, and this is going to be a hell of a show indeed. But I want to get things started. Obviously, this is the way this show is branded is that it's sports talk and fantasy sports talk, but with a little bit of an edge. And again, look at how handsome I am in that calendar. I am a super good-looking guy, even giving you the mom face like that. So, listen. Let's talk about last week. We talked about sports villains, right? Everybody was like, oh, Arthur Smith is a villain. He's ruining my fantasy team. He's just a dumbass. We know that. I think I called him a boob last time, and that's pretty appropriate. There's no malice in here for Arthur Smith. He's just like, imagine if you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out something while you're watching a football game, and the song that's playing in your head is so you can't say he's a villain. What we can do, though, is we can cite more sports villains worse than look at that, worse than Thanos, worse than the Joker, worse than the damn Hamburglar, for crying out loud. And you know who I'm talking about? I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. And I'll tell you what, to me, Aaron Rodgers is a definite sports villain here. And because this is a guy who is right now, he's holding the Jets and their fan base completely hostage. So if you guys haven't heard, I'm telling you here, Nathaniel Hackett is the problem for the New York Jets. And I know that you guys have heard me go on this rant before. I mean, we sat there and we watched Nathaniel Hackett in Denver last year, and he was atrocious. And everybody tried to like defend poor Nathaniel Hackett when Sean Payton was like, that's one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen. And then Payton starts off like what, 0-3, 0-4 with the Broncos. Yet, guess what? Sean Payton has seemingly turned things around, and suddenly everybody's like, ooh, Denver Broncos, look at this right now. Javonte Williams getting 20-plus carries. This guy's great. All right? Where's Nathaniel Hackett? Where's the improvement here? What have we seen? We've seen the same crap out of Nathaniel Hackett now that we saw when he was crapping it up in Denver. Here's the bottom line. Nathaniel Hackett is a great offensive coordinator so long as Aaron Rodgers is his quarterback. Because Hackett's sitting there, he's like sending in the plays, right? And then what's Aaron Rodgers doing? He's like, what was that? What? Yeah. Oh, man, you guys wouldn't believe what play this guy wants me to call. So here's what we're going to do, right? And he changes everything up. He changes it up in the huddle. Then he gets to the line. He looks at the defense, and he reads what's going on there. And then guess what? He changes, he'll audible. Whatever the play calling was that Nathaniel Hackett was doing, garbage. Doesn't know. Like he's not good at reading defenses. He's not good at on the fly changes. And so this is where we're at. Aaron Rodgers goes down. We try and bring in Zach Wilson. Now, listen, I get it. Everybody wants to crap all over Zach Wilson. I'm not saying that this kid is the be-all, end-all. I actually hated the draft pick when the Jets made it. All right? I don't need to see some kid in shorts throwing up a hero ball, across the field at the combine to a receiver who's not even being covered by anybody while he's like rolling out to one side and there's not even a defender in his face or chasing him or anything like that. But all of a sudden we put our eggs into that basket, and this is the bed that we made, and now we got to lie in it. So we're sitting here right now with good old Zach Wilson being coached by an offensive coordinator who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That's a problem. That's a major, major problem. And it's driving me up a freaking wall, right? Because now what's going on right now, Aaron Rodgers goes down. We see no improvement from the Jets at all. There's no growth from Zach Wilson. Occasionally you see like a flash of like, oh, is he getting it? But then that immediately goes away. And then he just, he reverts back to like garbage stuff. Now, okay, great. You want to blame that offensive line injuries? Sure, go ahead. Blame the offensive line injuries. That's fine. But the bottom line is that Nathaniel Hackett, like any other coach or coordinator in the NFL, needs to learn how to roll with the punches. If you're dealing with offensive line injuries, fix it. What the hell is the matter with you? Work on the offensive line a little bit better. Call different plays. The play calling so predictable, so grotesque that there's no chance for the Jets to score. I don't think the Jets have scored a touchdown in like 3 weeks. Have they? I can't even remember the last time the Jets scored a touchdown. Where's my boy Adam Bernard? Adam Bernard, you're a sad sack Jets fan. Look at that. Producer extraordinaire. Probably the most handsome guy on this live stream right now.
Thank you.
Bernard, talk to me here. When was the last time the New York Jets scored a touchdown?
I believe it was in that Giants game. No, it was the Breece Hall 50-yard touchdown pass from Zach Wilson in the Giant game. First quarter.
Nightmare right there. Like, and I'll ask you this, Adam, because here's my claim. Let me have you in here. Let's hunker down here for a second here and let's get down to the brass tacks, right? All right, let's talk about this. Aaron Rodgers claims he's working his way back, and people are sitting there. The latest report was mid-December. So he's on Pat McAfee, right? But he kind of backs off from that whole mid-December thing. He's like, that's where I'm targeting. There's zero chance this dude is coming back if the Jets aren't in a playoff picture. But he's got to dangle that carrot so that the Jets don't fire Nathaniel Hackett. He's holding the Jets hostage, right? Because he wants to keep Nathaniel Hackett employed. Doesn't want him getting fired before the holidays here.
I'll say this. I think the Jets, it's not even that the Jets have to be mathematically alive. The Jets have to I think for Rodgers to seriously consider coming back, especially behind that porous offensive line right now, they've got to be in a situation where they kind of control their own destiny. Where like they're not relying on, well, we need the Bills to tie or lose, and then we need this team that. They got to really be in control of their own destiny, which I don't think they will be at this point. For Rodgers to come back, if it's anything short of that, why would he risk coming back quickly from an Achilles injury in his 40s to potentially have to rush and especially at that MetLife Stadium turf? And I don't see it happening unless the Jets all of a sudden rattle off a few wins here.
I mean, and how are they going to rattle off a few wins? it's an impossibility. Let's just take a look here
At
at the
Buffalo.
New Jets schedule, right?
At Buffalo versus Miami versus the Falcons versus the Texans. Realistically, one of those games, maybe two of those games is winnable.
I'll go with one of those games is winnable. Maybe, but that's it. And I mean, it's just a bad scene. It's a bad scene. So I don't, I mean, listen, if you're looking at the way the standings are set up right now, all right, the Jets are sitting here in third place. They're at 4-5 in the division. Buffalo at 5-5 is ahead of them in the wild card. You got 2 6-3 teams in Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and maybe Cleveland shits the bed a little bit, and they lose a couple of games there. But then you got a 5-4 Texans team and a 5-5 Colts team and a 5-5 Vegas Raiders team. And the Chargers are sitting there at 4-5 with a better team than the freaking Jets have. So you tell me, people, are the Jets going to make the playoffs? I highly doubt it. And I think that when we get towards mid-December, when Aaron Rodgers is supposedly going to come back, it's garbage. Oh, bye, Adam. See ya. He's like, I've lived this nightmare for my entire life, Howard. I don't know if I can relive it anymore. But I mean, this is the situation. And if you're a fantasy player and you're holding on to Garrett Wilson, or you think Breece Hall is going to do something now with teams stacking the box against him, get over it. By the time Aaron Rodgers would even come back, the earliest he would come back is mid to late December, and you're already out of your playoffs. You've already lost. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And that's a huge issue. And so we're sitting here with this stupid carrot being dangled that, oh, well, maybe Rodgers comes back. The only reason that this is happening is because Nathaniel Hackett is getting his job saved by Aaron Rodgers, right? Come January, when the Jets are completely out of the playoffs and there's zero hope whatsoever and the holidays have gone, then Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, yeah, I'm done. And then maybe, just maybe, the Jets can fire Nathaniel Hackett. But can they? Or is Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be with us next year, supposedly, is he going to sit there and fight for Nathaniel Hackett to keep his job? How do you fire the guy? I was sitting there. I didn't have my Achilles. Blah, blah, blah. It's insanity. This is insanity. This is the Jets' lifestyle right now. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Jets are doing the same thing over and over again. And it's got to be the absolute biggest nightmare going on in sports right now. Biggest nightmare. Second biggest nightmare? Cleveland. That's a nightmare. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what the hell. Deshaun Watson, now, okay, he's got the shoulder injury and, whatever. I mean, this is just, to me, like, my personal feeling about this is Deshaun Watson does not come across as a guy who wants to play football anymore. And we've seen this a bunch of times. We saw it with Lev Bell. We've seen it with a number of players. There's a reason Barry Sanders got out early. There's a reason Calvin Johnson got out early. Not only were their bodies taking an absolute beating, right? But the grind of an NFL season is just, it's just detrimental. It's hard freaking work because it's not just, take the off season off. You got to stay in shape. You got to worry about free agency. You got to worry about who your new weapons are, everything like that. Deshaun Watson, you could see in the majority of his performances early on, when he was playing early on in the season, all right, like a deer in the headlights half the time. It was unbelievable. It was driving everybody crazy. And he was making stupid mistakes. He was doing stupid things. He was on the road and away teams. We know that. We know what people do in the stands. Like, these idiots think that because they can buy a ticket that they can shout whatever the hell they want. And you know what? After a while, you got to think that it's going to weigh on a player or a person. I'm not defending Deshaun Watson. The dude was an idiot. You don't get your masseuse on Instagram. No, you go through the proper channels. Go through the freaking team. What is the matter with you? So I'm not defending Deshaun Watson. I'm just saying I don't think this dude wants to play football. I think this injury right now in Deshaun Watson's mind is the best thing in the world for him because now he can go and oh well, you know what? I gotta rebuild my shoulder. I gotta rehab and stuff like that. This dude catfished the Browns, got all this guaranteed money, and I don't even think this dude plays a full season for the Cleveland Browns from now till the end of time. I don't see him doing that. So you want to talk about a sports villain, Deshaun Watson? Is he? Well, yeah, I would say he's probably a more of a villain. The Browns are just a hapless, bumbling idiot that just got taken. The Browns were the mark. Deshaun Watson was the scammer, and that's what happened there. So absolutely bonkers, driving me up a wall. But I got to get rid of the negativity because there's so much more to talk about. There's so much more fun to have here on the show because you know her, you love her. She is the Fantasy Alarm head producer at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. She's got a winning smile, too. She can pick anytime touchdowns with the best of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in my guest today. It's Shan Blunt.
Hello.
Crowd loves you. Crowd loves you.
Where did you find that picture?
I don't know. Adam Bernard, where did you find that picture? The internet.
That's from like college. Oh, that was when I was my early radio days. That's fun.
Your early so college, so radio throughout college?
Oh yeah, I started freshman year of college. I got introduced to our on-campus radio station. Was fully student-run, NPR affiliated, and that's how I got my start in radio. I really liked walking into the studio and seeing it, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Were you producing and stuff like that, or were you on air? Were you on air talent? Were you spinning the hits? Were you from the wax to the stacks? This is Shan Blunt here, spinning the hits.
Yeah, after a couple hours of training, you could get your own show at WMOU in Farmville, Virginia. And I had Keeping It Blunt with Shannon Blunt, and it was kind of like a hybrid talk music show. I like to play music I like, and then talk about some pop culture stuff, bring on guests. It was fun. I really loved that show. It was a lot of fun. I did it for 4 years.
Nice. What was your time slot?
Oh, it changed kind of every year. When you're the freshman, you kind of get like the crappy time. I think for a semester, I was only like on the internet too. I wasn't even on like the airwaves. But I had I think prime drive time my senior year, and it was a 2-hour show instead of a 1-hour show. And it was on air and on the internet. So I was like big time at that point because I was the general manager of the station for 2 years after that.
Ah, there you go. Did you always know that you wanted to be in radio, or is it did you just get bit by the bug in college?
Yeah, I got bit by the bug in college. I knew I wanted to do media and stuff. My dad is a videographer and a video editor. He worked for NBC, and he now works for a company that makes a lot of commercials called BES. I love them. They're great people. But I knew I wanted to do something like that. I went into it knowing that I thought I was going to be a video editor. And when we took a tour of the station, I was like, radio is really cool. And so I got hit by the radio bug in college, and that just became a big part of my personality and my love. We talked about it yesterday off air. We love passion, and you can tell when someone's passionate about something. And I became passionate about radio.
Yeah, some conversations not privy to the general public. That's why we like to bust it out here. What was the comment that you said was, we all seem to be having fun on the show, and if we're having fun, then the audience can feel that. And that's definitely
you can tell when someone's having fun on a program, radio show, a TV show, even casts of different dramatic shows. You can tell when they like to be there and they're having a good time, and it enhances the experience for the audience and the viewer, the listener. It's a good time. It's a good vibe that you get from that. We love vibes.
People do love vibes. No, you love vibes. I mean, I guess everybody likes good vibes, but you pick your games based off vibe. You talk about players based on vibe. Are you one of those? Because I'm actually one of those. I do believe in a higher being. I do believe that the universe is completely cosmically connected. I don't believe that there are accidents. I believe that you and I have met each other, that we knew each other in former lives, that you and I are cosmically connected, which is why when we first started working together, I don't even remember. Like you were just doing some AP shifts on the Fantasy Alarm Show. But I knew it. I knew that you were like destined to be our producer on Fantasy Alarm because of your vibe.
The vibe. The vibe. As Taylor Swift has a song called Invisible String, there's a visible string like connecting everything together. So it all makes sense. My first day at SiriusXM, I did a training shift on Fantasy Alarm, and it was so much fun. And you guys had I believe Lance McCullers Jr. on as a guest that day, and I was just starstruck and like how you guys interacted with him, and it was just so cool. I really loved the show.
Well, I appreciate that very much. You actually said that it was your favorite show before you even started at SiriusXM, which I don't know if you're bullshitting me or if you're actually telling the truth.
Not bullshitting. Not bullshitting. I don't bullshit.
Are you?
It feels weird to cuss on air. I can't do that at Sirius.
Shit. You know what? I mean, listen, it's right. It's so funny. I go through that whole thing of like doing it on the YouTubes and stuff because I mean, you're not supposed to, right? I'm not gonna sit here and like drop F-bombs left and right. I've done it before. I think I've done it on SiriusXM before too.
Not with me.
No? I'm trying to remember who was then. Because I've done it. I've definitely done it. There are times where you just kind of you know me, I get worked up. I get a little crazy. So.
As everyone does.
All right. So 4 years running that college radio station, you graduate. Was SiriusXM your first job out of school?
It was not. I worked at a local radio station in Richmond, Virginia. Summit Media, they owned about 6 different stations in Richmond, including their most popular was a K95, a big country station. So I would go and do events for them and stuff, kind of like the grunt work as you do. And I was a big country girl, listen to country music all the time. And I got to run the board. I got to do some traffic. I got graduated in traffic. So that was really fun. You get up at 3 a.m. to go report some traffic until about 8 a.m.
But oh, give me your best time and temperature and what's the traffic like on 95 right now?
All right, if you're headed northbound down 95, you're going to want to watch out for a disabled vehicle on the left shoulder. The exit to Janito Road is closed. And it would be stuff like that. It'd be kind of, I would obviously say some of the roads wrong. And we would get people coming up to us being like, oh, the traffic girl said this name wrong. And it's like, I'm not from Chesterfield. I don't know. I did my best. I was like 21 years old.
Is that the radio station that Drew Phelps works at now?
It is not.
Okay. He's at a different country station in the DC, Virginia area.
WFRE in Frederick.
Ah, there we go. All right. So you're over there. You're a big country girl. Favorite country song?
Currently it's Flowers with Ernest and Morgan Wallen, I believe. It's a great song.
I don't know that one. You want to hum a few bars?
Roses are red, violets are blue. I don't need one. I need 1 million to get you. Something like that. Scott showed me that song. It's like the one country song he likes. Big Reba fan.
Who?
Chicken Scott.
Let's talk a little Chicken Scott. Should we dive into your personal life right here on the show? We're going from career to personal life. We'll probably go back to career because I think so. Well, let's you know what? We'll put Chicken Scott on the back burner right now. He's in the pot. He's boiling. We'll get him for everybody who needs to know. So you're at some big country station there down in Virginia. You're doing traffic. You're checking the want ads. A recruiter comes, finds you. Somebody's like, oh, hey, here's my card. I work over at SiriusXM.
Yeah, I was applying everywhere. Honestly, I knew I didn't want to do what I was doing at the moment. I liked doing traffic, but I didn't love doing like the event stuff where I was just kind of hours were all over the place. And it was just, you never really knew what you were going to be doing from week to week. And it not very structured. Not that SiriusXM is super structured. We have a different show every single day. But SiriusXM, that's like, dream for radio, So I was just throwing my little resume out there, like fishing for it. And then I got a call from Matt Deutsch and Rob Tuzet. And we had a nice little phone interview. And then we had another nice little phone interview where I could hear them listening to my reels that I had on my resume website during the interview, which was intimidating. I was very intimidated. And then I got hired. They offered me a job in March 2020. And we all know what happened then. So I got pushed back for 2 weeks, but they still kept me on. So I also decided to go to grad school because I was like, there's no way they're going to keep this hire during a pandemic. So I did both, and that was rough, and I don't recommend it.
They had no idea what they were getting when they hired you. They had no idea, did they?
It definitely didn't go as I expected it. I you can't fully understand what you're going to get into when you start a new job, but like the way that it has risen, changed, all the shows and people who have come and gone since then, it is wild.
It's been absolutely amazing. So how long have you been officially the producer for the Fantasy Alarm Show? Because I have no sense of time. Thank you, COVID. Appreciate that. I have no sense of time whatsoever. So the official move to you being our full-time producer was when? A year ago? Year and a half?
It was like about a last football season. I want to say not at the very beginning, but like maybe a couple weeks into the last football season, they moved me to be your producer. Before that, I had been kind of like filling in every now and then. I think I had like one shift with you guys a week, and it would always be Wheel of Randomness Day, which is amazing. I loved Wheel of Randomness. I still love Wheel of Randomness.
Yeah,
You can
so
go check it out on the app.
100% your idea. You brought that to the table. You said
Wrong.
No? Whose idea was that?
It was Drew Phelps.
Was it
Drew Phelps
Phelps'
started
idea?
Wheel of Randomness, yeah. And then he got moved to a different show, and we kept it going.
Why did I think that was always yours? I don't know.
know.
I'm blocking out Drew Phelps, I guess. Sorry,
think
Drew.
My Wheel of Randomness and Drew's are very different from each other. So how we did it, how we do it. So two separate, very good things.
Well, I'm really curious as to the timeline here. So you are about to celebrate 1 year with Chicken Scott.
Yes.
And you are on the show. You were on the show before you and Chicken Scott got together because Chicken Scott stalked you for a while. He listened to the show and he was like, oh my God, I'm going to date this girl.
So what happened is I met my boyfriend, Scott, on Hinge, a dating app. For fun, I was wandering around dating apps and I was about to give up on those because heads up, they're not fun. But I met Scott and he was like, oh, I love SiriusXM. I did have it in my bio, plug, I'm so cool. I work at SiriusXM. And he was like, oh, I listen to this channel, and then channel 87, this Fantasy Sports Radio. And I was like, I work there. And so Howard is convinced that he stalks me, but I think it was just a happy little invisible string accident.
If he listened to the Fantasy Alarm Show and you are our producer, because I've said this time and time again, and I'll say this till I'm dead. Any show, any radio show, any TV show, live stream show, it belongs as much to the producer as it does to the host. Like your creative input is a must, what you and Josh Wagner bring to the table. Josh is our associate producer and he's on there 3 days a week, 4 days a week.
Co-producer, at least 4. 3 days a week, I think.
I know you don't like labels. Okay, sorry.
He's a producer. Either way. He's great. I love Josh. He's my fave.
But it's like, it's as much your guys' show as it belongs to me and Jim. So, I think that it's we brought you on. You were on air. You were becoming an on-air personality as well as the producer of the show. If Scott listened to SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, then he knew you.
There's a possibility that he had heard me before, but maybe not made the connection.
I'm on to you, Chicken Scott. I'm on to you. He's at work today right now, so he's probably not even watching.
He's not at work at the moment, so he might.
What's that lazy bum doing right now, huh? He better be like, I don't know.
Shift starts in an hour.
Oh, okay. So talk to me about when you first started on the show itself. So yes, me and Jim sitting there with Lance McCullers is like your first kind of an appearance thing and everything like that. But it was, I'll say it for me personally, there was a certain intimidation factor about working with Jim Bowden, right? 16-year veteran GM of Major League Baseball. This dude won World Series titles. This dude traded some of my favorite players, like bubblegum cards, left and right. So there was a certain amount of intimidation that kind of came through with that. As you joined the team, did you pick up, like, were you intimidated by that with him? Were you nervous about being like a part of this show?
Oh, 100%. This is an international radio show. You know, both of you guys are pros. I'm a Nationals fan. Jim signed Ryan Zimmerman, my favorite like Nationals player until Juan Soto. But so I knew of you guys. It's a huge deal that I'm like moving from very terrestrial radio, small college town radio in Farmville, Virginia, to like SiriusXM. So of course I'm intimidated. The first time I talked on air, I think I like got off the show and I was like shaking 'cause it's scary. It is a big deal. You don't realize how many people are listening until you're behind the scenes and you can see how many people call in when you say, "Hey, call in," and it lights up like a Christmas tree because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people listening to you talk on the radio. And it's scary. It's a big thought.
Who's more intimidating, me or Jim?
I think at first Jim, but now probably you.
Why me?
I don't know. I feel like I know how you guys work now, and I know how to work both of you guys easily. So I feel like you're a little more headstrong than Jim. Jim's kind of be bopping around, just being Jim, talking about baseball.
Okay. All right. So, all right. You know what? Then I want to know. I want to know. I'm gonna use this platform here to just grill you with questions. Right? How do you handle me, Shan? How is it? What's it like trying to deal with Howard Bender?
Well, we know like at this point, like what's a trigger from like callers, or if the conversation isn't good, how many times Jim brings up the Cowboys. Maybe you drop in a little drop. Maybe you play a little sad violin. Maybe you play a little Des Bryant saying, "How about them Cowboys, Jim?" to break the tension, move it along. Maybe I play mention something about Taylor Swift and our little drop of "I bet you think about me," or the Ramblin' Man to push us along.
The Ramblin' Man's a great drop.
Oh, I love that. It's one of my favorites. And like even like the "I got a feeling" when sometimes you just can't formulate your words and you don't know how to explain it to other people, but you just know something. So I got a feeling. You just push it along. You learn, you grow. As a producer, I'm still growing as a producer.
So you drop humor in there to control me. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
I'm swaying one way or the other, you just say, "Let's make something funny here."
sure.
Okay. I can handle that. I can handle that. No problem. No problem.
Good vibes
So
only.
good vibes only. So producer here at the Fantasy Alarm Show, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio today. What's Shan Blunt want to do in the future? I know it's tough to kind of look and see, but I mean, are you like, do you have aspirations of controlling radio stations? Do you have aspirations of being on-air talent again? What do you want to do? What do you want to be when
No,
you grow up?
what I want to be when I grow up, I'm just 26 years old. I'm just a baby.
Baby.
Um, I don't really know. I really love where I am right now. I love the amount of like creative control I get with you guys and how much I get to be on air. You know, some shows don't do that, and that's fine. But I love that I get to have that opportunity to talk on air with you guys. Britt Flynn wants to be me when she grows up, but I want to be Britt Flynn when she grows up. But,
I want to be
I
both of you guys when I grow up, for crying out loud. Jeez Louise.
It's hard. I recently started doing a lot of our social media for the channel. So like when you see a lot of our posts and stuff, it's probably me posting out there when you're commenting and someone likes it from Fantasy Sports. It's probably me. And I really love that. I love social media. I loved social media in college. I did a lot of classes for it. And the more I get involved with that, the more I love social media. I love trying to get our product onto social media so more people can see it, interact with it. So I don't know. I like right now balancing the social media aspect with the producer aspect. So I could see me gravitating more towards social media as I get further into my stay at the company. I love SiriusXM. Don't really have any plans of leaving anytime soon. So we'll see.
You want to do more social media? Isn't social media just like just a barren wasteland of annoyance? I mean,
It is 100%. There's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions who are hanging out ready to fire them away at you. And you got to be strategic. And that's what we took classes for in college. And I really loved that. And I love making the graphics that we post out there. I have a lot of fun with that. I love being creative. So social media allows me to have just another platform to be creative. So I love social media. You saw me at the expo just run around with my little camera taking videos and stuff. I was having a ball.
Sure, absolutely. Can't wait for that again, right? I mean, I don't know what's next for you, whether it's FSGA in Vegas or whether it's going to be the expo again, but I mean, obviously, you've climbed up that ladder and you crush it every single time, and that's one of the reasons that we absolutely love it. Like that's like you bring such a different element to the show. Jim and I, couple of old white dudes, just stuck in our ways. We still don't understand the ways of the youth today, and you bring this element to the show, and that's what I love the most. And we'll get into your whole Taylor Swift hang up here, because that's
Big
a big
news.
deal in the NFL right now. But it's it's not just that. I think I remember when you had us do the high key low key segment, which I don't know why we don't. I mean, I guess we don't do that now because nobody says high key or low key anymore.
It was definitely a trend for sure. Like you're high key into something or that's low key. Like that low key slaps. But definitely
It was
trend.
that kind of a thing. You convinced me. You're like, here, look at this TikTok video. Look at this TikTok video, which it got me to sign up for stupid TikTok. And I've even posted I don't know, 4 videos over there. I need you as my social media manager. What? You know what? Have you ever thought about going into talent management?
I have not. I feel like it would have to be on a case-by-case basis if I did that.
I feel like you would be a badass. I feel like you're somebody who fights for a client.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I love, again, it all comes down to if you're passionate about something, you want the best for it. So, I'll fight for the Fantasy Alarm Show all the time. I fight for RotoWire. I fight for all of the shows that I get to do. I love, what I do, and I want people to know that. And I've got strong feelings, big feelings.
All the more reason why I think you should be my manager from now on. I think I'm going to need that. Right. So Matt Deutsch, Al Williams, you guys are on notice. From now on, everything to me goes through my manager, Shan Blunt.
Gladly.
See that? Getting buzzed. Breaking news right here. Shan Blunt becomes talent manager extraordinaire. We love that. But I mean, that. So it's the element that you bring to the show that I love so much, because it does, to me, you need to find ways to connect to your audience. And while, yes, I'm probably, super popular in the over 60 crowd, I would very much like to be extremely popular in the 18 to 30 crowd. I think that's kind of, where, it's the demographic that you really want. Those are the people who are playing fantasy football incessantly, or just starting to, and bring that there. So I love the fact that you bring that to the show. Now, the other thing that you bring to the show is a huge change in music, away from the wonderful jam bands that I love so much. But now all of a sudden I hear, for every one Fish song I hear coming in and out of a show, I hear 20 Harry Styles and 60 Taylor Swifts. What's up?
An occasional Chicago. I love Chicago. My favorite channels on SiriusXM besides ours are 70s on 7 and 80s on 8. I love those. I'm very lucky that I grew up with parents who have great music taste and introduced me to a lot of music like that. So especially I'll throw in some of those. And Josh Wagner is always killing it with the throwback tunes as well. But like, of course, I gotta fit in Taylor and Harry where I can. You know, it's
I
it's a
know.
very special place in my heart. They're both I love their music a lot. And I'm just making sure you guys love it too. Introducing you to it.
The crossover to me is just again another cosmic connection, whatnot. I go see Fish at Madison Square Garden all the time, and when Harry Styles did his run of shows there, they raised the banner. You were at that show where they raised the banner. It's stuff like that. It's like you having that kind of a moment at Madison Square Garden, which MSG was my home growing up. My first concert without parents was at Madison Square Garden. It was 1983, Shan. I'm just going to say it right there. It was 1983. I know you weren't even a glint in your daddy's eye.
Like 15 years before I was born.
It was my first concert without parents at Madison Square. But I love, Madison Square Garden is my town. Like, that's my home. That's my place. So to see you have that kind of a moment to kind of share in that, and have that big moment for Harry Styles, and you and your roommate went up there for the show, and shout out to Alyssa, the best Survivor rankings ever. If you play Fantasy Survivor, you need to hit up Shan Blunt on Twitter and see if she'll sell you a copy of her roommate's rankings. I subscribe to the Survivor buff.
She'll gladly talk about Survivor with anyone.
Which is fine.
100%.
Which is fine. Which is, you know what? She'll talk about Survivor with anyone like you'll talk Taylor Swift with everyone. And there is nothing bigger in the world of the NFL right now than Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Big Eagles Chiefs game this Monday night. I mean, let's talk about it here. We'll start off with what Taylor's music means to you, and your connection to Taylor Swift, and then we'll start doing Taylor and Travis stuff.
Sure. I got introduced to Taylor Swift when she probably her debut album with Tim McGraw. I love that song. And all of her country hits, I did grow up in a rural Virginia area. I listened to country music. It was just surrounding me. I loved Taylor Swift growing up. And then I feel like it evolved with my age. She changed, she grew. She had some identity changes, just like her, like a normal teen and a normal human being does. They go through phases. They go through different eras, and she expresses it. She uses her medium to express it. And I think she does it so well. And she does it in a way that is fun for her fans by being a little cryptic, being a little secrets here. Let's put all these puzzle pieces together. It's fun. It's interactive. It's how she interacts with her fans and brings it, a deeper connection. And her music is just so good. I've said it before. If you don't like Taylor Swift, I'm sure I can find a song that you would like by Taylor Swift, because she has such a huge variety of music. Recently, I got Scott into Taylor Swift, and I noticed today he's got some Cardigan saved, some Exile, some Mirrorball saved into his playlist. And I was like, I thought you didn't like Taylor Swift. Well, there's 4 songs right there for you, bud. But there's a song for everyone. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, because they think there was a phase where it was cool to hate Taylor Swift. But now it's not. Now we realize everything that she's been through. And it's hard to see someone and not know everything they've been through in that industry. And when it comes to light, understand more of why they are the way they are. And she went through some horrible stuff with her record label and some horrible people who took advantage of her. And now she's taking back what she's made. And I think that's a huge power move, and she's stronger for it.
Funny, I was talking to Lisa Ann last night on the show, and she started talking about, because I was saying something about, Patrick Mahomes is probably the happiest guy in the world because now his wife gets to be best friends with Taylor Swift. And I mean, come on, if anybody told me I got a chance to be Taylor Swift's best friend and get to hang out with her in the skybox and watch games together, I'd be freaking out too. But apparently, is there some sort of I believe there's some sort of crossover rift here now that Brittany Mahomes did some stuff for Skims, and now there's a whole Kanye, Kim Kardashian, Brittany Mahomes kind of thing that's bubbling over here. Or is this just people trying to make a mountain out of a molehill?
I think it is people trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. I think there was a thing with Taylor Swift and Kanye. That was always a thing. And then there was a thing with Kim, Taylor Swift, and Kanye because, Kim was married to Kanye for a while. But more recently, Kim has posted some songs of Taylor Swift on her story. On her, her kids seem to enjoy Taylor Swift's music. Kim Kardashian is first and foremost a good mom, and that's like what she wants, and she will always portray like that, protect her children, do the most for her kids as she possibly can. But I think it's people just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, and I think Taylor's very over it. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet where she does not, care about Taylor Swift or not. She doesn't care about Kim and then posting stuff like, obviously, if she did, she would make it known, and I don't think it's a big deal.
She is not somebody who is shy about speaking her mind, which I absolutely love. I definitely love that. Now, all right, so I appreciate you clearing that up for me. Let's talk a little bit about her and Travis Kelce now, because this is, it's a big thing. And you never played fantasy before you joined SiriusXM, did you? Did you play fantasy football back then?
Like once, maybe when I was like 14, 15 in like a friend league, like young, not really caring.
And now here you are today. And how many leagues are you in?
I'm in 5 very serious leagues, and I don't even know how many best balls I'm in at this point, and I've lost count.
Do you have any shares of Travis Kelce?
I don't. I was not lucky enough to get
Oh.
Travis Kelce because in every single league I was in this year, I had like the second or third pick. And so I couldn't waste that on Travis Kelce. Not that it would be a super waste, but I had better options for those, especially in a lot of super flex drafts. I was obviously drafting higher tier quarterbacks in those spots. But and then by the time it got back to me, I didn't have the pleasure of having Travis Kelce, but I wish I did.
Do you though? Because
He definitely isn't performing as well as everyone thought he would be.
He's averaging fewer than 50 receiving yards per game in games not attended by Taylor Swift.
And
is that a problem?
It's a huge problem because that number is only going to go down as Taylor goes on more and more of her international tour. So she probably will not be able to visit as much as she has been. And I did hear rumors that she will be here on Monday for the Taylor Swift Bowl, the Eagles Chiefs game. So I'm super, super excited to that. As Britt Flynn just put in the chat, their parents are going to meet.
Their parents are meeting for the first time. Now, Kelce's mom wears a half Eagles, half Chiefs jersey. Will Taylor, a well-known Eagles fan,
it's even in one of her songs,
split jersey?
I don't know. I really think this is going to be a toss-up. I could see her doing it. I was introduced to the whole Kelce brother, situation at the Super Bowl. Like a lot of people, I knew who Travis Kelce was. I knew of the Tush Push and Jason Kelce, but like just the family dynamic they had and their podcast and them as people, I really got into after last Super Bowl. And it was just so fun. And they're such fun people. But it does bring up the question of Taylor Swift being an Eagles fan. And it's hard. And she has been seen wearing a lot of Chiefs stuff. Her dad was wearing a Chiefs lanyard that was given to him by Travis Kelce. And he did talk about that on their most recent podcast. So like it's hard. I can see like I date a Ravens fan. It's hard. You gotta balance.
I'm married to a Giants fan, so I feel the pain. I know.
I'm a Steelers fan, so for everyone else listening, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. All right. Well, you know what? Should Taylor just wear blue on Monday and not, have any kind of an affiliation? I don't know.
I think it would be very cute if she did the split like jersey or shirt or something to support her team and her man's teams because he's the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to her. So I don't know. I'm excited though, regardless, to see all of the Skybox videos every time Travis Kelce makes a play or even remotely makes a play.
right? You flash them on the screen, and then boom, you got to go to Taylor. All right, I'm running out of time here right now, but here's the test. So I always play a game with my with my guests here on the show. We always like to have a good time. We all know you know everything about Taylor Swift, but how much do you know about Travis Kelce? Because Shan Blunt, it's time to play Travy Trivia.
Looks to throw it, pump faking, right side he wants, and a comeback cut. It is caught by Kelce. Touchdown, Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League.
All right, Shannon Blunt, here we go. It's time for Travy Trivia. Let's see. You score 10 points for a correct answer, 0 points for an incorrect answer, and at the end of this, grand prize, if you get at least 3 out of these 5 questions right, you will earn not only my love and admiration, but also my respect. That's the only prize that we have here at Getting Buzzed. Are you ready?
I guess.
Question number 1. Travis Kelce was selected in what round of the NFL draft?
Oh, I have no clue. What year was that?
2013.
I was 15 years old. I'm gonna say the 4th.
Adam Bernard, was it the 4th round?
That is not correct. It was the 3rd round.
Oh, there we go.
Close.
Yeah. I thought we were gonna get like an kind of a buzzer thing, but no, never mind. Question number 2, Shan, you're 0 for 1. Not good. Travis was one of 2 tight ends named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame's all-decade team for the 2010 era. Who was the other tight end?
I have absolutely no clue.
Rob Gronkowski.
Oh,
The answer was Rob Gronkowski. Come on, Shan. Get your head in the game, lady.
If it was Taylor
Question number
Swift,
3.
I'd be easy.
How many rushing touchdowns does Taylor's favorite guy have in his career?
Oh gosh, Howard.
Come on, you know
Double digit? Is it double digits?
You know the answer.
It's not double digits.
Thank you.
You know the answer. I see you.
6.
2.
No.
2. Look at the camera here. What am I doing?
I thought you were just peeking out. This is bad.
So you've lost my admiration. You haven't earned my respect yet. My love is on the line here right now, Shan. Travis Kelce was suspended for the entire season while he was a Cincinnati Bearcat. For what reason?
No clue. Well, the answer's on there now. The answer's on.
Puffing the Chiba, baby.
Use.
Smoking the weed. Wow. Final question here, Shan. Let's see if you can go 0 for 5. Can you go 0 for 5 today? That's a historic. It's historic. Nobody's ever gone 0 for 5 here on the Getting Buzz show. Travis is from Cleveland Heights, Ohio. What famous actor and salad dressing entrepreneur is also from Cleveland Heights?
A salad dressing?
Entrepreneur. Famous actor. Also has his own salad dressing.
Who has their own?
Butch and Sundance, The Sting, The Color of Money, The Hustler.
Slapshot.
The Verdict. Married to Jessica Tandy.
Cool Hand Luke.
I do not know.
Paul Newman. He's a very famous actor. You should ask Ray and Susie about who Paul Newman is. Yeah, that was just wow. All right, I'm gonna have to think about whether or not I can anymore now. This hurts me. But congratulations on being the first person to ever go 0 for 5 on their trivia questions.
I'll take it. I'll be the first.
Well, Shan, I thank you so much for spending a little time with us here today on the show. Anybody out there, give Shan a follow on Twitter. You see it right there at Shannon B _ Lunt. And Shan, what's your TikTok?
Shanner1.
At Shanner1. For all you Animal Crossing junkies out there, check it on out. Well, Shan, thank you. Really appreciate you being here. And I guess I'll see you at work later today.
Yeah, only a couple hours. This is great.
All right. Thanks so much. Bye. Shan Blunt, everybody. Again, producer extraordinaire at SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio and one of the most amazing people in the world. That's my thoughts. All right. Time to wrap things up here with our final five. And here we go. In honor of Thanksgiving, because this show won't be on for Thanksgiving, 5 best Thanksgiving pies. Here we go. I got to find the list here because this list is all over my. You know what, Adam, get in here, man. You're the Pied Piper here. You're the man behind it all.
I like the Pied. That was a nice pun there. Good job, Howard. Pied Piper. That was top notch.
Thank you so much. I'm playing the room all evening. Try the veal. Adam, give us the final 5 top pies for Thanksgiving.
All right, so number 5, we're going to go off the board a little bit here. Coconut custard. It's not a pie you hear about a lot, but it's a nice change of pace. You get the coconut in there. Entenmann's makes a great one. If you're unaware, they do have an end cap at the end of the aisle to make a Seinfeld reference. So that's going to be number 5. Now, number 4, sweet potato pie, because it's a dual threat. You can have it with your meal. You can have it after your meal. It's sweet. It's delicious. The sweet potato doesn't really get a lot of love besides really sweet potato fries. So it's chance to shine right there on Thanksgiving.
I like that.
Now, number 3, I mean, it's an old standard staple there. It's, apple pie. It's versatile. It's the basic bitch of pies, but there's a reason it's one of the staple pies. It goes well at summer barbecues, goes well at Thanksgiving, and is probably the best pie for pie a la mode. Number 2, gotta have pumpkin pie. Gotta have pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. It's a staple. You don't have to like it, but it's got to be there on the table. There's Halloween and Thanksgiving. It's got a 1-month window to shine. After that, it goes on the shelf the rest of the year. So
shout out to my Uncle Harris, who was the only person at our Thanksgiving Day table who always ate the pumpkin pie. My mom would always get it, but it was only for Uncle Harris.
You have to bring it. It's got to be there. And also, one trick, if you are having problems in a certain GI area, pumpkin can help. And let's face it, after Thanksgiving, a little pumpkin's going to go a long way. And then, of course, number 1, pecan pie. I mean, it's not my favorite pie is blueberry pie, and it's not even on the list. But this is a Thanksgiving pie list, and to me, pecan pie it's got to be right there next to the pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. It's as much as the background as the scenery as your turkey, your stuffing, et cetera, et cetera.
See, I'd actually rather do the pumpkin pie than the pecan pie. Pecan pie gets like diabetically sweet, and I like sweet stuff, but I don't know, man. That gets a little bit much for me.
I don't know. I mean, to me, the pecan pie for Thanksgiving, it's the Mariano Rivera of pies. It comes in after a strong 8 innings, and then it shuts the door.
No. It's more like the Jose Leclerc of pies. Come on, man. See, it goes up there, and it just blows up your colon after a while.
Listen, Britt's got the right idea here. Pecan pie is the best.
Britt doesn't know nothing about no pecan pie.
Wow, you think you know somebody, and now you're just assaulting their pie tastes and flavors? That is not.
I have to do it, man. I have to do it. I love that y'all pronounce it wrong. All right, Rex.
Is it pecan or is it pecan?
Pecan pie.
You really go either way.
I would be proud to partake in your pecan pie. That's going to do it for us here on Getting Buzz. We thank you all. We'll be back after the Thanksgiving holiday. Tune in tonight for Bengals Ravens. I am doing a BenderCast takeover again. So get yourself the BetterCast app and join in the fun later tonight. That's going to do it for us here. Big thank you to Shan Blunt, to my illustrious producer, Adam Bernard. Yes, hit that one right there. Hit that QR code. Join the BetterCast app tonight. I'm Howard Bender. Thanks for tuning in to Getting Buzzed. Catch you next time.